Hello, I'm Frank Hanaway, and welcome to Big Journey, Small Steps. Well, normally I record my videos on Monday, and that gives me some time to think about it and see if there's any changes I want to make and to edit it and to upload it. But this week I am making it on Wednesday, and in just a couple hours I'll upload it and put it out there for you. It's just been a really busy week, not in a bad way, but busy. All the Christmas stuff is done, though there isn't very much for me to do. And this time of year, I tend to, and you may as well, look back and see what sort of progress I've made. And I realize that the last 2 years, I'm sure I talked about love at Christmas time. Sita, please stop that. I talked about love. And I'm going to talk about love again today because I think it so bears repeating that Mahatma Gandhi left a legacy of love that really hadn't been voiced, I don't think, since Jesus. You know, I'm always bringing up that scripture in Matthew that says, love your enemies. He didn't say, we're under oppression, the Romans have taken over Israel, let's beat them down and then we'll go back to loving. He never made any of those sort of political statements. Hello, I'm Frank Hanaway, and welcome to Big Journey, Small Steps. Well, I sort of like to look back at the end of the year and see what my focus was for the year and see what my focus is going to be for next year. I don't make resolutions because I'm extremely, it just seems, for me, it ends up being a negative thing to spend a, well, I usually spend 3 days worrying about the fact that I haven't started my resolution, and then somewhere in February I decide I'm a worthless worm and will never do it anyway. So I don't do resolutions, but I always have a spiritual goal, and my spiritual goal has been consistent for a long time, and that is that I increase in my ability to love, and that my love is not limited to the people that are around me, but every person and every conscious creature in the universe. I guess I was imprinted in the 60s with the hippie movement. We did a very terrible job of bringing peace and love to the world because we didn't know what love was. And I go back to this on these videos from time to time, but Mahatma Gandhi left a legacy that was carried on by my teacher, Eknath Easwaran, that includes, as a definition of love, the act of putting other people's needs before your own. Sita, please don't scratch the carpet. That's a very lofty goal. And I'm not sure that Gandhi would have necessarily thought it could be accomplished in one lifetime. My teacher thinks yes, and that working hard towards that is a noble goal. And I also not just in the Gandhian tradition, but in the Christian tradition, I'm always struck, as I mentioned probably every second or third video, that passage in Matthew where Jesus says, love your enemies. And you know, for the Israelites at that time, when you said enemies, they were probably thinking Romans, because they were under Roman subjugation. And most places that the Romans went, they just sort of, what do I want to say, included the captors into the Roman Empire, and some of their more notable citizens became Roman citizens, and it went on like that. But there was this real problem with the Jews because they took their religion so seriously, and they didn't make sacrifices to God, so they refused to make sacrifices to the Roman gods. I don't know that the Romans actually believed in their gods one way or another, but it was a political act to sacrifice to them. And when the Jews refused, it made extra tension between the Romans and the Jews. So Jesus was in the thick of all that because he was a spiritual teacher at a time when this Roman domination was going on. And in the face of that, he still preached and practiced love your enemy. And it's funny because the word enemy changes when you love them. It means a person then, or a group of people that you have some disagreement with, but it doesn't mean someone you hate anymore. And that's starting to happen for me. I'm able to separate people's actions and words from their value as a human being. That I'm starting to learn to accept that the core of beings on this planet is divine. And I can love that core. I can be really disgusted with their actions and words. And I can oppose their actions and words. And by non-cooperation, I hope that whatever your spiritual goals are, that you can see some progress towards them, like I'm seeing. Because it's the thing that most gets me through my life with my mother. If people's value is only because of their words and actions, then people who are disabled in some way, how do we love them? What if the things they do? Sometimes, you know, I had a Down syndrome brother and everybody thought he was sweet. He wasn't always sweet. He was a human being. He was a wonderful person, a wonderful guy. He and I were best friends. But he was just a person like anybody else. He had really good points and not so good points. But he occasionally said things that were just outrageous or did things that were outrageous. And since I had the opportunity to love him for 58 years, I more and more can see that I didn't love him because of what he said. I didn't love him because of what he thought. I didn't love him because of what he did. I loved this essence of Arthur. Well, Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope that in your family, the expectation for the gifts and all that don't outweigh the love that you share with each other, which is really the important thing. Thanks for spending time with me. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you a Merry Christmas, full of peace and joy.